Have you ever been absolutely 100% certain about a memory from your past, only to find out you were completely wrong? And what's weirder, millions of other people were wrong in the exact same way? It's a strange, kind of unsettling feeling, right? Almost like a little glitch in reality. Today, we're going to figure out what's causing that glitch.
All right, let's start with a big one. Think about it. It's one of the most iconic lines in all of movie history. It's been quoted, it's been parodied for decades. You can probably hear that deep voice in your head right now. But is that what he actually said? Nope. The real line is, "No, I am your father." He never says the word Luke. Now, a lot of people chalk this up to parodies, like Chris Farley and Tommy Boy. That misquote definitely helps cement it in our minds. But this little mix-up, it's just the tip of the iceberg of a much, much weirder phenomenon. So what you just experienced there, that feeling of, wait, what? It actually has a name. It's a strange, but believe it or not, surprisingly common thing where huge groups of people share the exact same false memory about something. It's called the Mandela effect. The name comes from a paranormal researcher named Fiona Broome. She discovered that she and thousands of other people had vivid, detailed memories of watching news coverage of Nelson Mandela's death in prison back in the 1980s. The only problem? That never happened. He was released, became president of South Africa, and lived all the way until 2013. This powerful, shared but totally wrong memory is the classic example that gave the whole effect its name. So yeah, this is not just about one movie line we all get wrong. This phenomenon pops up everywhere, in brand logos, in famous songs, even in the spelling of our favorite childhood books. Okay, get ready for this. How do you spell the name of that famous family of bears? Most people will swear on their life it's Berenstain with an EI, but it has always been Berenstain with an AI. Now, picture the Monopoly man. Top hat, cane, and a monocle, right? Wrong. He has never, ever worn a monocle. And the Fruit of the Loom logo? So many people are positive there was a cornucopia, that horn of plenty, behind the fruit. It was never there. And it's not just stuff we see. It's stuff we hear, too. Think about the very end of Queen's "We Are the Champions." After that last big line, doesn't your brain just automatically finish it with "of the world"? Everyone sings it that way. But if you go listen to the studio recording, it just ends. He never sings that last bit.
Okay, this one might be the most baffling of them all. Thousands upon thousands of people have incredibly detailed memories of a 90s comedy called Shazam, starring the comedian Sinbad as a goofy genie. People remember specific scenes, they remember the VHS cover. The only issue, that movie does not exist. It was never, ever made. People are probably confusing it with the movie Kazam, which starred Shaq, but the memories for Shazam are so specific and so widely shared, it's just wild.
So when you're faced with these massive memory glitches, it's honestly no surprise that some pretty out-there theories have started to bubble up. Sometimes it feels more comforting to believe that reality itself changed rather than to accept that your own mind could be that unreliable. So before we get to the science, let's look at the explanations that feel a bit more like science fiction. One of the big ones you'll hear is that we're all sliding between parallel universes. So in one universe, it was Berenstain, but we've somehow merged with this timeline where it's Berenstain. Another popular idea is that we're living in a computer simulation, and these are just little glitches, bugs in the matrix. Some people even point their fingers at things like the Large Hadron Collider, suggesting that these massive physics experiments are accidentally tearing little holes in reality. It's a pretty mind-bending thought, right? Did reality actually change, or did our memory of it just get it wrong? Well, cognitive psychologists have an explanation that's a lot less sci-fi, but honestly, it's just as fascinating. Okay, so here's the big reveal. The answer to this whole mystery isn't found in quantum physics or another dimension. It's actually right inside our own skulls. It all comes down to the fundamentally flawed and kind of creative way that human memory actually works. All right, this is the most crucial thing to understand. Your memory does not work like a video camera. It doesn't just perfectly record things and play them back. Instead, every single time you remember something, your brain is actively rebuilding that memory from little bits and pieces of information it has stored away. It's less like playing a video and a lot more like building something from a box of spare parts. And, well, sometimes we grab the wrong parts. So this rebuilding process can go wrong in a few key ways. First, you've got simple memory gaps. Our brains just don't save every little detail. Then, to create a complete picture, your brain automatically fills in those gaps with stuff that seems logical. This process is called confabulation. Then you add in outside suggestions, like all those "Luke, I am your father" parodies.
and the original memory can get overwritten. And the final step? The internet. We can instantly find thousands of other people who misremember it the same way, which reinforces our false memory until we're positive it's the truth.
Let's really dig into that word, confabulation, because it's the key. It's not lying. It's a totally unconscious process. Think about the cornucopia. You've probably seen a pile of fruit with a horn of plenty in Thanksgiving art a million times. So when you try to picture the Fruit of the Loom logo, your brain just says, oh, a pile of fruit. There should probably be a cornucopia there. And it just sketches one in to complete the memory.
Our brains are also kinda lazy. They absolutely love shortcuts and patterns. For example, the name ending Stein, like in Einstein or Frankenstein, is super common. The ending Stein, not so much. So when you're a kid reading Berenstain, your brain, which is always looking for a familiar pattern, might just auto-correct it to the more common Bernstein without you ever even noticing.
Now look, misremembering cartoon bears or Monopoly mascots is one thing. But this exact same quirk of our memory can have serious, real-world consequences, especially when the stakes are a whole lot higher.
This is a real quote given to the New York Times by an eyewitness at a police shooting. She was absolutely certain of what she saw. Her memory was vivid. She was confident. A man in handcuffs was shot by a police officer.
But she was completely wrong. Police surveillance footage that came out later proved it. The man was never in handcuffs. Another witness at the same scene swore the man was shot while running away. That was also wrong. Their brains, under all that stress, just reconstructed a memory that felt true, but simply didn't match what happened. This is a huge reason why eyewitness testimony can be so dangerously unreliable.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? It's not that we're jumping between parallel universes. It's that our memory is so much more creative and fragile than we think. It's not a hard drive full of facts. It's more like a storyteller, constantly editing and retelling the story of our past to make it make sense.
And that really leaves us with a fascinating and maybe a little bit unsettling final thought. If so many of us can be so convinced and so wrong about something as simple as a movie quote or a cartoon's name, what about the big stuff? What important parts of our own lives or even our shared history are we all collectively misremembering right now?